Hi, Sheila with Creative Aging. We are going to make some Christmas ornaments today, and we need some cookie cutters, which I figure a lot of people have heart cookie cutters. You can use any kind of cookie cutter that you'd like. I mean, if you have some at home that are Christmas and you've always wanted to try to use them, you can do this project with whatever shape you want. But I figured hearts would be something that everybody would enjoy, and we're going to do a heart with a snowflake inside of it. And so these are, all this is drawn into the clay. So we're just going to do an intricate little design with our pencil. This is all stuff that we've done before. And then, of course, this is the pigment that most of you guys have. And I delivered some silver. If you need any more, please, activities directors, please text me and let me know. I'm happy to deliver any more supplies. And then you're gonna need some kind of string or ribbon or whatever you wanna use. It depends on your Christmas tree, of course. So if you wanna match it to whatever you have already. Okay, let's get started. So you're of course gonna need your Sculpey clay. We're gonna warm that up. Okay. And you're gonna need your clay pencil. Make sure there's an eraser on it. All right, so once it's warm, I need you to roll it out. And remember, you wanna flip it. And this is thick, so I've gotta really flip it quite a bit. Don't hurt your hands. If you need help with this part, ask somebody to help you. The warmer it is, the more it's gonna be easier to roll. And so I use quite a bit of clay because I'm gonna do a big heart. Now, of course, you've got to roll it to the size that you're gonna make. So keep rolling, and the reason we flip it is because it warms up and it could get stuck to whatever you're rolling it on. And so once it's a good thickness, that's pretty good, you want to cut out your shape. And so make sure your stencil fits on top, and just press down. Okay. And as you can see, I did this on cardboard. This is how it sticks. So that's why you need to flip it no matter what surface you're using, because it warms up and it just starts getting stuck to whatever surface you're on. Even me flipping it, it almost wanted to get stuck. So after you cut it out, I want you to make sure that all the edges are really smooth before we start drawing into the clay. Sometimes, your shape can get stuck to the metal. You just want to smooth it out before you start drawing into it. That's just going to help you in the long run. It's going to be easier. Okay, so you want to take your pencil, and you might as well make it easy and use the eraser and push down maybe in the middle. And make sure it's centered. So make sure it, go from the top and find the middle. And press down, and that will get you started with your snowflake. And then you want to start drawing your lines. And so let's go ahead and find this top center and start drawing into your clay. And you want to go all the way down. Now we can re-push the center of that in a minute. And so you can turn it if you want. That might be easier. So I'm going to go kind of straight through just to make sure that I get the same, so it looks like it goes straight across. And if you need to go over it again, and see how I'm holding the pencil? I'm not holding it this way because that's going to cut into it and it's going to make it less smooth. So I'm kind of holding my pencil to where I'm using, and I'm just pushing and dragging slowly. And then we're going to go crossways. Right here, do the same thing and just keep your line straight across, even through the circle. And we're messing our circle up, I know, but we're gonna re-push it in. All right, now let's go ahead and use that eraser and let's push this in again. And you can push it and kind of move it if you want. And you can even, if you want to make, now you can do this a few ways. You can leave it like that. If you want to do little dots around it, that will automatically create a design, and it will also smooth out some of the uneven edges. I'm all about using design to cover up some mistakes, so let's just do that. That'd be easier. And then on the edge, let's draw a circle on each one of these lines. Now you can either draw it, just push and draw a circle like this. You can also just push your pencil lead into it. That's going to create a little deeper dot. I'm going to actually draw a circle on all of them, so I think that looks better. But of course, I want you to do what you think looks best. And you want to be careful not to push your finger into your design. So see how I'm turning it and I'm being really slow and really gentle. All right, now go ahead and start making little marks off of this line. Kind of like arrows. I'm doing a big one up here and then a smaller one right here. And you might want to clean your pencil every so often if there's a little piece of clay that's stuck. And if you see a little piece of clay that is stuck, like I just got one right there, you can smooth it as we go. Just get that out, pull it off of your pencil, and remember to use varying pressures as you're drawing. You want some of these lines maybe to be deeper than others. All right, so let's take a look at what we've done. Now you can see probably some little marks that I need to fix. See right there? Gonna get that off. And you can keep going or you can stop there. It just depends on what you want. If you want, say you want like maybe a dot in the center, you can go around and do a dot, a deeper dot in the middle of your circles that you drew. So this is where you kind of pause, look at it, and add more details. And if you want to draw more lines off of the snowflake, you can do that as well. Let me show you this other one just so you can compare. Now this one's more simple, so you can simplify it if you like this. If you want to add more lines, this one's got a lot more lines. And I also pushed the eraser in to kind of make it look like snowflakes on the outside. So I just went in and pushed the eraser all the way around to add texture in the background. So decide if you like that look, if you want to add kind of where there's snow, or if you want it to be more flat and silver. See, that's the difference. Now all these lines are going to show up more when we put the pigment on it. So for the one you're working on, decide if you want to use your pencil and do more marks to make it look like snow, or if you like it like this and you maybe want to add a personal, the year, or you want to write someone's name at the top, you are welcome to do that. Like this one has 2020. 2020 for this great year. But yeah, please, personalize these. If you want to add a name, you can just write that in to the top or the side. You can do initials, or you can just leave it. You can always do stuff on the back too. If you want to write a personal message like, we love you, and then write the family name. Okay, so let's go ahead before we put the pigment on. Let's do the hole in the top. Went ahead and used a paper clip, and I opened it up, and I'm going to go right at the top of my heart, and I'm going to push in, and I'm going to move it. And depending on how thick your ribbon is, that's going to determine how big you want this hole. All right, and then before you put the pigment on, I want you to check every little mark that you did, make sure that it looks good. I feel like that got messed up right there, so I'm going to use my finger to. And actually, I'm going to go in with the paper clip again because I don't think I think it got squished a little bit. So there we go. And then I'm going to smooth it with my finger. That's better. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get our pigment. You need a soft brush. And I want you to make sure to dot the pigment on top because we want to get in all of those little marks we did. So that's why I'm kind of tapping it, because the pigment is going to kind of go all the way down into the deepest part of your drawing. And if you like gold, or if you have a different color pigment, if you have blue pigment at home, you're welcome to use that. I just know a lot of people have the silver, so I wanted to make it, what everyone can do, and they can see the example. But there's a lot of pigment options. You can go and buy your own, especially if you want to do a bunch of these for Christmas presents. So after you dot it, I want you to, paint it. Make sure the whole thing is covered before you put it in the oven. And I'm getting the edges, of course. And you might want to get the backs of these too. Sometimes, if you're wearing the jewelry, if you're wearing this and the pigment kind of dusts off a little bit. So sometimes I don't have you do the back of it if it's a necklace. But since it's an ornament, go ahead and do the back. And make it, and then make it pretty on both sides. That way if it gets turned around by accident, it'll look more professional. So just gently paint the whole thing. Don't waste the pigment. See, I'm going to use that at the bottom. Keep painting it. Okay, turn it around again. Make sure the front is all covered and make sure it's really shimmery. There we go. It looks great. All right, so see, this pigment is just gorgeous. See how it shimmers? And you can also use paint. If you have paint at home, you can use paint as well. I just really like the pigment because it looks like metal and it's got a really high shine. But if you want to use paint, these kind of paints, they're metallic jewelry paints. These work really well if you'd rather use paint. So go bake this at 275 in your toaster oven or your regular oven. You can cover your cookie sheet with foil, put it in the oven for about 12 to 14 minutes. 12 minutes will probably be fine. You know, these are pretty thin. Make sure to leave it on the cookie sheet to cool all the way before you touch it, because that's when it's going to break. And then, you know, let it cool on the cookie sheet. Then, you know, you're going to string it after it's baked. And of course, you can pick your own ribbon. And so this one, I used the hole that I made, and I just put the ribbon straight through. And I just used a small red cord. Actually, you know, so there's a lot of brands if you go to Hobby Lobby or Michael's. So you can, you know, this is actually a little Christmas cord brand. So that's thinner if you like that. They also have, you know, some sheer ribbons. They have all colors. If you want to do silver, red, or green. If you don't make your hole big enough, then you can use a jump ring and put a jump ring through your hole and then tie the ribbon on top of the jump ring. So either of these will work. You might decide that after, depending. You might test a few out, but definitely if you're gonna just buy ribbon, then buy it to match your tree. You can also use some natural cord that's like tan if you want, you know, or if you can use a black elastic, whatever you want. I just figured, you know, red and green will make it a little more festive. And then you'll be done. So right after it comes out of the oven, put your ribbon straight through your hole if you can fit it, or you can use a jump ring and use a thicker ribbon. Okay, and then, you know, wrap it up in a pretty package and give it away as a present. And if you want to write a message on the back, do that and personalize it. You can write a message with Sharpie on the back, or you can draw into it before you bake it. Whatever you prefer. All right, Merry Christmas.